What's up? I'm Shannon.
And I'm Hannah.
And we are self-proclaimed experts in everything because we've lived through a lot.
Yeah,
As
I'm
you
21.
can tell, we're really old and we just have
years.
experienced so much in life and we just want to share our wisdom. But really, honestly, this is what I want, is I just want a discussion of 20-year-olds.
Listen, I had an opinion. I thought one thought, and I said, everybody on the internet needs to hear this because I'm right about everything. I've never looked up a source in my life. Ever. I just know everything. And I said, if guys can do it, we can do it too.
Exactly. Well, I feel like we're starting a podcast for the worst reason you can start a podcast,
absolutely.
which is that you think your opinions deserve to be
I know.
heard.
I don't care about spreading a message, teaching people stuff. I want to talk about me, and y'all are going to listen.
No, I care about spreading a message. And
I don't.
I want to spread some advice and have some candid discussions, and I want to teach a little bit about how to be happier in your life, hopefully through some of this advice.
Yeah, because some of the advice that people give, it's just like, we all know that's not true. But here's going to be true.
Yeah, I just want to help you live a little bit of a better life. So today, we're going to be talking about our first topic is college. And we have so much experience in college.
Well, I don't know about you do.
Well, okay, so total, I think I've gone to under 2 years of college, but I have gone to 3 different schools.
And I'm 4.
Well,
No,
I'm trying to apply to like a 4th, and then that's probably going to be a community college just to finish an associate's or something. So then when I actually finish my actual degree, that will be 5 schools. And then I really do want to get a master's. For the worst reason, again, I want a master's because I want to say I have a master's. But I'm sorry, honestly,
And the thing is
what
that-
other reason is there to get a master's? Because they don't get you more jobs. Doctorates gets you jobs.
No, doctorates don't. You just keep on getting more degrees.
I just
you're
mean,
like, oh, this is going to get me a job. And it doesn't. And you're like, I got to go to the next thing up. And that's why people get their master's.
I just mean doctorates, like, usually you have to get a doctorate in specific things. I guess for masters, you can stop for, like, lawyers. You can stop at a master's. There's some where you can stop at a master's. But, like, I remember I studied computer science in college, the little time I went to college. And all the professors said, don't get a master's. They said nothing is a bigger waste of time. And that brings me to the first part I want to discuss, which is which college majors are quote unquote worth it, because people always say majors are not worth it. When I studied computer science, people were saying, oh, why are we even here studying this? This is so not worth it because you can just go look up online and like learn code yourself and just get a job. You really don't need a degree. And I'm like, if computer science is a major that is worthless, then what is a major that actually is worth it? Because
I don't think there is one. I think that
medical, like, and engineering is the only thing I can think.
True. Engineering, I think math.
Yeah, but no. People say math is, if you're just getting a math degree, they're like, oh, what are you going to do with that? Teach? Like, that's all you can do.
No, but I think that there... Okay.
Logically, I think there are ways you can, like,
we
find other jobs that need math degrees, but, like, on a basis level of common jobs.
We need to define degrees as stuff you'll actually use and stuff that's required on the resume to get a job.
Yes, because I will say, I like I said, I only have 2 years of schooling. I did not complete my degree, and so far I've gotten through life pretty well because I worked in film on the production side, so it really hasn't been an issue. I got jobs, and then people recommend me for other jobs, but I'm trying to work more in like a corporate setting, more in like film development and whatnot, and every single time I have an interview, they always bring up my education and they say, so what's this about? Like, did you just not complete school? And I know it is something that rules me out, and they look down. I know it's something that people look down on you for and judging me because, and I would do this. I can't lie. I would do the same thing if I see someone didn't go to college. Like, I'd be like, well, okay, well, why didn't you go to college? But I hope through like my interviews that they can see that I'm a competent person who I just feel like I wasn't learning to, especially because I was studying computer science. I knew that I wasn't going to do computer science. All of my classes were computer science. I wasn't getting the well-rounded education that would further me as a person and as an intellectual. It was literally just like, let's learn code today. And I was like, I'm not getting any smarter here.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like engineering. It's like you need that if you want to be an engineer.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like a business degree, you get that to put, oh, I have a business degree.
Yeah. Because they're like, why would I look at someone who doesn't have a business degree?
If you go, and especially because I work in corporate, you go into corporate, they teach you every single thing you need to know.
Exactly.
You don't need anything.
It's really, and that's why I don't think there really is many worthless majors, because your major, barely any majors actually
Worthless
apply.
Majors or majors that are worth getting.
I'm just saying, people say,
like,
people will say like liberal arts degrees aren't worth it, but at the end of the day, most jobs just want you to have a degree. It's the relevancy of your degree to the job.
I disagree with that.
Okay, tell me how.
I think that experience is much more valuable than a degree.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying they just want to see that you went to college. They don't really care what it was. You can apply to basically anything once you're out of college.
But I think that if you got out of high school and like you went to college and I didn't, but I got experience in that field, I think they would be more, or if you got a unrelated degree, I think that I would have more of a chance of getting it.
I think that is true, because I think there's just so many, especially with things like Indeed and more remote jobs and people moving more. There are so many applicants on anything that's posted online. There are so many applicants when before there used to not be that many. If you wanna do film production, I'd say do sound, because they will always get paid. When actors are getting paid $100 a day, and have the volunteer DP, the volunteer director, the sound person is the one who's getting $400 a day. They're going to spend the money on that.
And you know what?
And nobody does it, so they need people.
Exactly. I think that film, or not really film, but like editing and sound and light design, I think that's more technical. And I think you definitely could. I don't think you need a bachelor's, but an associate's or a certification in that is really helpful.
Well, I think that's the problem, is that a lot of these film degrees, especially from four-year universities. Honestly, two-year universities do the technical part a lot better, but from four-year universities, it's a lot of theory and watching movies, and it's like preparing you to be a director or a connoisseur.
Girl, we need
of
gaffers.
Movies.
Girl,
exactly, and it's like
workers.
They don't care. Truly and honestly, if you're working in production, like making the movies, if you want to be on set, if you want to be a PA, if you want to be an AD, if you want to be, a gaffer, if you a grip, anything behind the scenes of an actual production, truly and honestly, you do not need a degree. I cannot say that more. If you want to work behind the scenes, you do not need a degree. Now, like I said, in my stance, where I'm trying to go into the studios, like development, that is where that education comes into play. You should have that degree with the theory and whatnot.
When you're on the set and you're working, you are a body. You are a thing that
they're
can
like,
lift
we need
things.
something that will listen to us and will walk and can lift.
Don't think anything. Do what I tell you to do.
They're labor jobs, and I don't think people realize it. Even I worked in costumes a lot, and it's so much carrying and just like
it's not hard labor, but it's labor.
Yeah, it's not hard labor, but it is labor. Yeah, and you just don't need a degree for that. I said the 2-year degree from like technical universities do a much better job in that sense. And on that note, I want to talk about people in art majors going to college, because I think that's a common thing that people always talk about, is they're like, if I love this art, should I go to college for it? And I have a specific thing to say with musical
Can I say
theater.
something?
Okay, yeah, you can go first before I start.
If you're good at something, you don't need a degree. And getting a degree in an art will not make you better. Listen, and I'm saying this, and I say this with love, with peace and love in my heart, but also honesty. Do not get a fucking degree in musical theater. You will never, ever use that. And if you're good at it, you're going to be on Broadway. You're not going to be on Broadway. Nobody, even the people on Broadway, don't get paid well. But if you're good at it, you don't need a degree, because it won't make you better. With art, if people like your art, you can learn technical skills. But like if you want to be a real creative, then you either have it or you don't.
No, see, I disagree with you. I think you'd be surprised to know that I do disagree with you. I think that...
No, you don't, because I'm right.
No, I do agree with you in definitely a lot of senses, but the fact is that if you're really good at an art, go to college to hone your art to get better. Also, I think specifically I've seen musical theater and acting, specifically acting, is that you will not be great if you did not come in good.
Yeah.
If you want to get acting, it will get you better, but if you're not good from the start, it will not make you good. And that's the sad truth I've seen over and over again. I don't doubt that someone could do that they could, like, something snaps.
No, they couldn't.
I mean, I think it's possible. I'm not going to say it's impossible that it could happen, but I'm just saying the chances are the education that you're going to get is not going to somehow make you this star. It is going to be just building on the little bits of you that you already have, especially with acting, because acting is so much just like learning about how to breathe and like feeling what's in your soul. So
she's like, acting is girl.
No, but what I wanted to say is that I'm thinking of people who got musical theater degrees. I did not get a musical theater degree because I knew that I was not good enough to get to the level that I wanted to go to. I knew that if I wanted to continue with musical theater.
What level is that?
That is like being able to have the chance to be on Broadway.
Okay.
Or be constantly working, getting paid okay.
Also, you technically did get a musical theater degree. Talk about that with high school.
I mean, that was an acting degree, and that was for a high school. And I would recommend that because it was just throughout my high school. I was basically doing a conservatory-based program. Mm-hmm. But in musical theater, I see these people who, the really talented people in musical theater, sometimes they are overlooked when they don't have that degree, when they're looking at apprenticeship programs or they're looking at some things. And I think the really good people, you are behind if you're going to go into it truly and honestly you will be behind if you did not get a degree in it. That is what I've seen, and that sucks, but that is what I've seen. Now, I do not think you need a degree at all. I think you can just take classes, and especially for acting. But I'm just saying it will get you to that level. It will get you seen in showcases, which can get you an agent, which will get you there faster. It just is the fast process. You will be behind by at least a few years if you don't go to. But at the same time, I'd say that's for the people who are really good at it, and they're definitely going to go into this. I would say more than half the people I've seen get acting degrees and musical theater degrees within a few years have to either go back to school and
they get a master's.
They pick a different job because it's too much work, and you're not making money from it. And you have to decide if you love it so much to live your whole life only doing one show where they pay you $400 a week the rest of your life, if that's gonna be worth it. And then people realize, oh wait, that actually sounds horrible. I'll just do community theater and then make an actual living wage on the side.
Exactly. You can do that. You can do community theater. But are you talking about like the more technical side? Because I feel like
you're talking about like theater tech people?
Kind of, but also it's just like Broadway, it's any like honest to God, it's any entertainment thing. Connections are the actual
and college will get you a lot of connections because
your
classmates will be booking out of school. Colleges do have
an alumni program, but I feel
but especially if you go to like one of the top universities for these things, that is going to mean a lot. It won't mean a lot in maybe like 5, 6, 7 years, but the hardest part is to get off the ground running, and they will get you off the ground running.
And that's the thing.
I'm just saying that my advice is to not go to school for musical theater or acting. I'm just saying if you do go, this is me just giving the other side of the argument because I do think that that's a waste to kind of go there. But like I'm saying, if you are really good at it and you know that this is what you're going to do, then I do think it's a waste of time to not do that. And I think that's true with any art. If you're a great artist and you're going to go to college, don't get a degree in something else when you're going to work in art and you're going to be good at it, because then you're wasting your time by not getting a degree in the thing you're going to be doing the rest of your life.
That's the kind of idea that my friends had where they're like, okay, I'm going to go to college. I'll just do it in something I love. And I'm like, that's great. What I love is paying my bills. I feel like if you're going to be successful, you're successful from the start. And that's the thing. It's just like really the biggest way to not be known and then come up in these entertainment industries is to be either nepotism baby or start when you're so young and to just build on those skills. Like you say child actors.
Yeah, most everyone I've seen who is a professional actor did acting in their childhood.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just like it's just something that they had. And I truly believe, like, for me, drawing, I can go to so many, I can watch somebody do something and follow them I can't do it. Like, my little sister and my one friend, they just have a natural knack for it. I think that there are some skills.
You can get better, for sure.
Maybe.
If you practiced.
I guess.
But I do agree that a lot of artistic stuff is innate. Like, I love to sing. I sing all the time. Mm-hmm. I've worked at singing so much that I am okay at it. I know I will never be great because I was just not born with the gift of singing. I can hold my own and I sound fine, but I will never be great because I just wasn't born with it. Like, I just did everything that I could do. I even had a voice teacher tell me when I was like, how do I do these things? And they said, they said, I'm sorry, like, we did it. Like, this is just you. Like, that's just your voice.
I know, and that's the thing. I think I definitely have a better voice than you. I don't know if I have a great voice. Girl.
No.
I do.
Lies.
You wish.
Riff off. I like I forget what they did in that movie.
I know. But the thing is that you, at some point, you have to be like, okay, this is my dream, but this is also real life. And I'm sorry. I just have a very strict thought about it, and I hate you liberal arts people because, like, 5 of my friends went to college for musical theater, and I'm like, y'all are not.
It wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't be that bad if they like got the leads in the school play.
They didn't. Oh, I love you guys so much, hearts. But the thing is that even if you did get the leads in the school play, you have to know that you could have the talent, you can have the skills, you can have the connections, you don't have the luck. And that is the thing is that hard work, especially in the entertainment industry, and in entertainment at all, it's just like luck is a huge factor.
Yeah. I actually disagree. I think that people who are really, really talented will always be seen and always make it there. The thing is, it's just that not a lot of people are very talented.
Some of y'all suck.
No, I'm just
and you
saying,
need to realize that, and you need to sit down, and you need to get your degree in fucking accounting or something. Because y'all will not be able to pay your bills. My friends say, oh, I'll work in a diner. Please, get a minor in musical theater. Get a degree.
No, I'm just saying that a lot of people are just like, they're fine, they're average, they're like good, but the extraordinary people, if you are really, really talented, you will always
good isn't enough.
In any industry, I think you will always find your way to the top, and I truly believe that. Everyone I've known who has been like truly talented, everyone else is good. Like they're still doing stuff.
How much of that talent is innate talent?
It's all innate, and it's also personality. And that's the worst part about acting, is that so much of it is just you as a person, and if you're just
you don't act, you just be yourself.
Yeah, they just want to see you, and just sometimes you are just not an interesting person.
Listen. And y'all hate to hear it.
No, because I agree. Because that's what I am. Like, I'm just not an interesting enough person to like make it further.
You're also a little bit ugly.
Yeah, no, that's a part of it too. Yeah. For sure.
I'm glad you can realize that.
Oh no, I know. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing, and I feel like. Honestly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying this stuff to be mean. I'm saying that as of knowing that myself, that I am not talented enough to do this.
Shoot for the stars, but also
I'm not
getting
enough
certification.
Like, it's just true, and that's just the truth of it. And I know where I stand.
You need to know where you stand. Hey, peace and love y'all. You need.
But I also disagree on that part, because I think the way you can make it while being average is to be delusional.
That is true.
And I don't have the delusion to get me to those next places, because I am too logical.
And I do.
I do think you do have a little bit of delusion.
No, I am. No, I don't have delusion. I know it's going to happen. I know I'm a star. They're watching me, and I know that.
Oh God!
That's so interesting that you say, and I truly believe, because it's always the people that are like, I'm here. They always get it. Mm-hmm. But I will say that is the same exact thing that happens for corporate, because they don't care if you do a good job. Like in like, I work in insurance, but I work on the corporate side, so I don't know anything about insurance. Don't ask me what insurance is. I don't know. But so they're always pushing like leadership, and the people that get promoted, the people that work their way up, are just people who have good personalities. They don't really do astounding work, but they're extroverted, and they're like, mm-hmm. Hey guys, we're gonna do this. And the thing is that they have confidence, but that's delusion, and they were just feeding into their delusions.
Confidence,
and then people were like,
delusion.
It is. And the thing is, you can be delusional. That's confidence. And guess what? It's no different. Like, fake confidence and real confidence are the same exact thing.
I think the thing that held me back a lot in my work is that I did not want to move up to the next level unless I knew what I was doing. And then I'd get to the next level and realize, oh wait, I'm now the most skilled person here, because nobody has worked to like keep up these skills. I now know everything I needed to know, and now I feel like I could kick myself for holding myself back for so long when nobody else knows what they're doing. Okay, I want to talk about the student debt part of college. Because that is the part that honestly made me quit school is the student debt part.
So I don't have any student loans. Okay, I didn't talk about my college.
Oh, true.
I went to 1 semester of college, failed all my classes. But that, not my fault.
Yeah, we dropped out for different reasons. I just simply, it just didn't make sense for me to continue at that point, and you just failed.
Yeah.
You could not do it.
But, no, I could.
Okay.
But I went to college when COVID was happening. So that first semester, it was like the fall of 2020. And I'm really bad with online classes. And I was getting frustrated. I was like so anxious. I was like, I literally can't do this. And then I got kicked out.
You got kicked out?
Oh, no, I didn't get kicked out of school. My parents kicked me out.
Oh, you got kicked out of the house.
Yeah.
You didn't get kicked out of the house. I suggested you...
No, they were getting me out of there somewhere. That just happened to be a convenience.
No, I suggested you come near me, and they said, that sounds great. And then they said, you're going to leave. You're going to go somewhere else.
But
we're going to send you to a nice farm.
I know, and they did. So I did 1 semester, and then that was paid for by my college fund. It was about $4,000 because I went to a community college. And then I didn't go to college. I didn't have any credits to my name. And then recently, actually the spring of 2023, I went back to college and I took 2 classes and I aced them both. And that was I paid a little over $1,000. Mm-hmm. And that was also a community college. So I paid my dad, well, he had a college fund for me, so he paid out of that. And then I paid this recent one by myself, and with the job I have, I think I'm going to be able to get reimbursed. So right now, I'm in a position of no student debt, which I really, really, really wanted to avoid.
Yeah, and I'm in the opposite position. I went to 1 year of school in-state. It was like the cheapest in-state school I could go to, and that was about $18,000 for the year. If you include all the room and board and everything, it was probably like 20-something.
And didn't you get a scholarship on top of that?
I got like a $2,000 scholarship.
Okay, so that's nothing. So that's pennies. They spit in your face.
Yeah, which is crazy because I had a great SAT score and I had great GPA. Okay, I had above average GPA and
what's
above
the
average SAT. You know what? Forget it. Whatever.
You know what? I will say you had a better SAT than me. I didn't take the SAT. I took the ACT and I got a 25. But then wait, what was your high school GPA?
It actually was kind of bad. It was like a 3.7.
Do you know what mine was?
What?
It was a 2.4. But that was after...
Girl.
No, because my freshman year, and I worked my way up. And that's really impressive when you learn that my freshman year GPA was 0.9. So I had to climb myself up from that.
Climb yourself all the way up to a 2.6.
And you know what? And I did. And that was a lot for me, and I did it. So
congrats. And now look, now you're in college acing classes. But anyway, so I did my first year at school. That cost about, let's say, around $20,000. I think most of that was paid for by my parents with the college fund that they had saved up for their whole lives. It paid for almost 1 year of in-state tuition.
Yeah, no, was it... So it was $18,000 for the year, not semester, right?
The year, yes, because it was in-state, and it was, like I said, the cheapest option that I had for me. That wasn't at a community college. And then I think I took out a few loans of like a few $1,000s in federal loans. For the first college. For the first college. Then I transferred to another college.
Then you dropped out.
Okay, skipping that part. I thought I was gonna do a movie. I wanted to go more where it was warmer. I liked the South because I was doing a lot of work down there. I wanted to go there because it was prettier. I didn't like the city, Philly, a lot. I wanted to transfer. So when I transferred, this was an out-of-state school, but it was still fairly cheap compared to other random schools. So this was a state school. It was about $18,000 per semester, maybe 17.
Semester?
Yes. So about 32 or something, low 30s for the year. Believe me, I looked up schools. This is one of the cheapest schools I could go to.
That's insane.
And so this $18,000 that I took out to go to this one semester of the school, which, by the way, first of all, my first university I went to, which is why I did not have a great impression of college, is that they signed me up for classes that were not required and did not fill any need in my major. And then when I went to the second college, I did that one semester. I did not make it into 2 of the classes that I needed to take. So again, I was taking filler classes that I paid $18,000 for with the student loans interest rate. And when I pay it off in 10 years, which right now is about 5 years, I will have paid $30,000. And I gagged and I said, get me out of here. I'm taking 3 classes, none of which are actually applicable besides like my calculus
were they even
class
gen
was
eds?
applicable. No, they didn't even I took a physics class, but I needed to take the lab too, and I couldn't even get into the lab. So the one class that I could take with it, well, like I couldn't even get into the lab part of it, so I didn't even complete the class. Like it was put such a sour taste in my mouth that the thought of paying $30,000 for that one semester, and then if I did more semesters, and at the rate that they're not giving me the classes I needed to do.
First of all, you're foaming at the mouth. Second of all, that's so funny because there are literal jobs in college called college advisors, and their entire job is to work out people's schedules.
Yeah, well, the classes I needed filled up. They filled up, and then I just can't get over the fact that they told me to take this one class that was not in any way related to any of my major, or like it didn't fill any of my requirements.
No, that's
and
insane.
that scared me. And then, like I said, I researched schools. This is one of the cheapest schools. I mean, obviously there's community colleges and then in-state colleges, but still it was like on the cheaper side of the schools I saw. And then I think, how are people affording this?
They aren't.
Are people taking out hundreds of thousands of dollars of student debt that is going to accrue to be more hundreds of thousands of dollars of student debt?
What's the interest rate on the standard interest rate on student
I think it's somewhere between like 4 and 7%.
It's just like on that much amount of money. Mm-hmm. And honestly, you know how there are all these things where it's just like, oh, people that have degrees make throughout their lifetime $1 million more. Mm-hmm. I think at this point it is a net loss to get a college degree.
Yeah.
I truly and honestly, because the thing is that everybody is getting college degrees because that's the next step after high school. Yes. There is no other step.
And that's what you were told. That's what I was told. I said, it's just something I'm going to do. And I didn't know what I wanted to study, or I knew that I wanted to work in film, but I was like, well, why can't I just work in film? I'm already kind of doing it. Can I just go and keep doing that?
Even I feel like even if people have job paths that don't require a degree, they're still like, okay, I still have to get a degree because that's what's
exciting. Like I said, even as I talk to people who learn I don't have a degree, just like the ways they see me differently, it is crazy, especially like job recruiters. They see me so differently when they learn I do not have a degree. I'm truly a different class of person.
It truly. And it's weird because even if you don't get a degree, the opportunities that people have, especially because I've been in high school more recently than you because I'm younger than you, but they were like, okay, they were like, college degree, that's your goal, that's going to get you success. And then, well, if you don't want to do that, go to trade school, which is still technically a degree. And I think trade schools are awesome, but also it's just like every time they wouldn't really talk about just going straight into the workforce because there really is no path of growth there. You know, it's just like, oh, you could work in a like, let's say Kohl's or something. Could work there and work your way up, but that's not really, that's kind of like, it's taught as like, you don't want to do this. This is shameful. This is looked down upon. And
you can make good money if you become manager and go from there. You can make good money.
And the thing is that these non-degree jobs are talked so low. Like they're looked down upon.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's and right now I'm working in a position that they said, can we have a degree? It didn't really require it. But they were like, you should have a degree. Girl, what in?
That's what I mean is that it's truly a vetting process. You could go from high school to basically any of these entry-level jobs and do perfectly fine. There's nothing prerequisitely that you need.
The thing is
it's truly a vetting process. They're like, we just want the smartest people.
And no, not even the smartest people. They want the people that can afford it. It's truly and honestly, in college is like...
It helps assign you to a class almost.
Yeah.
And that's solidify you in it.
People are so like, oh, I'm a first generation like college graduate. But right now, it's just like, and it's so frustrating to see these people where they're like, oh, you can go out into the workforce, but get a degree later. And then these other people that are like, oh, if you don't have a good paying job, get a degree to get a better job. But now everybody has degrees, and they're still working those shitty jobs. So what are degrees for?
And they're so much in debt. Do you realize that a lot of people who have the average amount of debt, they're paying $500 to $600 towards their student loans every month?
That's insane.
That's like rent on a shared room in an apartment.
Yeah. Well, in this economy, not really. That's half a rent. But still, that's a significant amount of money. And if you go out, because you have to start paying like right after. I mean, I don't know. Is it still paused right now?
I think it's like after you graduate, I think that's when they start requesting you pay. Yeah. Or you pay, like, I remember from mine, I paid $25 a month until I graduated, quote unquote. I waited 4 years, and like when I would have graduated to start paying the real amount. And then you start getting that bigger amount once you graduate.
Yeah. So like imagine that you go to high school and you get into a good college. But the good college, because good colleges obviously are way more value than low colleges, Ivy Leagues. Simply, college is kind of a big portion of it is the name itself.
Yeah, that's the second part of the vetting process. Once you have these like really big companies, like say like Google or I don't know, they're just like big companies that everyone wants to work at. Then they say, okay, now that everyone here has a degree, let's just look at the people that have Ivy League degrees.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I know for a fact that these people, because like I said, because the internet, they post it online and so many people apply, they aren't looking at all the applications. If they they have time to look at it for a split second and go to the next.
No, they don't.
They're going to look at referrals and internal employees, and then the people who have Ivy League degrees.
Yes, and it's so crazy. People are like, oh, the people if they're hiring people with Ivy League degrees, then they're smarter because they got into an Ivy League. I dated a guy that went to Harvard once, and a little bit after I dated him, I was like, are you a legacy? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I could tell, because people. The majority of people that go to Ivy Leagues are they're legacies or they have money, and it's not about the actual like.
And it could be other. It could be other ways that you quote unquote have money. It doesn't mean you pay for a wing of the school. It just means that like the opportunities that you had to write about on your essay or to have on your high school resume are things that require a lot of money. Yeah, or connections or something like
referrals,
that. Like it's like those people who like, oh, it's like, oh, I went to Africa and I saved the kids or whatever. It's like, okay, well, that's an expensive trip.
It is,
and it's also trips that are targeted towards people to put on their resumes that they don't actually help at all.
I know,
it's literally just a resume.
They're like, okay, let's
trip.
build one house and then ingrain into these children, if you don't follow Christ, you're gonna fucking die. You're gonna burn in hell. It's like, that's what mission trips are.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're doing something good, but you should really check out this guy named Jesus.
I learned about that about, I think it's Habitat for Humanity. I thought it was such a great idea when they go and they have all these people come and volunteers and they go build homes. And I remember in my high school, a bunch of people left for a little bit because they were going to do this. And then I was like, wait a second, high schoolers are building someone's home? And then I read later that like they go back, it's just to like make them feel good about helping. And then they go back and they redo everything because you can't have high schoolers or people who are not qualified build
like OSHA's gonna
home.
Get involved. Like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, so, it's like that's what I mean by like rich people or they can pay for these SAT tutors to really get their SAT scores high. There's just a lot of little tiny ways that if you have the wealth, you have a much better chance of getting in. That's just what I mean a lot of the times when I say that wealthier people usually get into the
exactly. It's I think I said earlier, it's just like the connections, the recommendations you have. If you're a legacy,
like Elle Wood, they were like, I was dating that guy. Oprah Winfrey wrote her recommendation letter. It's like, of course Elle Woods got into Harvard. Oprah Winfrey wrote her recommendation letter.
She wasn't smart. She was a little bit sly.
She studied a lot.
She studied a lot, but she was eye-catching. But it's really like, and that's what the thing, they'll now everybody has college degrees. They're going for the higher degrees. And it really is just it's not a superficial part. But I feel like it's a superficial, I don't know, but an underlying part of it quite literally is classism. And it always comes back to that. Every single thing, it comes back to classism.
Yeah. Well, I haven't even thought about this. We're just like discovering this now, talking about
and
how
listen. I said these people need to learn because I know everything. They need to listen up. I say these were two white women like discussing this.
I know, literally so young.
I know.
No
I'm
life
21 years
experience
old.
at all.
I'm like, I know things. But doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I completely agree. And I never really thought about it until I always knew that I wanted to go to college simply because what was I going to do? Not go to college? That's
Exactly.
not me. Like the status that it would give me, I just did not want that. So I wanted to go to college purely for that.
Like, I think both of our parents were first generation college grads. Yeah,
I'm not sure, maybe, but
Yeah, I know.
we'll say yeah.
Yeah, they were. But also, I think that was because it wasn't really a normalized.
Yeah, that's why our families were fine, like lower middle class
Exactly,
people. Like they just didn't have a degree because you just didn't really need one.
Yeah, like our grandparents, they didn't go to college, but they still was able to buy a home and raise 3 kids and go on vacation. And they had a boat, but it was kind of like, oh.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about when you make
That's
college
what, they're like white people are like 3 people removed from a boat.
The thing about what was I saying? The thing about college being so expensive and then making it either for the people who are willing to take out hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans or even and so it's just the rich people who can go, or you're saying get a degree that is worth it. If you're going to spend all that money, get a degree that's worth it. That would mean that everyone who goes into college is going to get a degree in engineering or business or medicine. And what about who's going to study the ocean? Who's going to study things? Who's going to actually further our artistic, our humanities endeavors? Yeah. That's what we need college for.
Exactly.
And then we're pricing those people out and then calling them dumb for getting those majors.
Exactly. And you're like, oh, you are I'm willing to put you in a lower position, give you less money because you weren't good enough to do this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it truly is a vetting process where it's just these people.
Should only rich kids be able to
to
get further the humanities? To further the humanities. Our society is built on humanities and arts, and when we strip that away and all we have is capitalism, is business.
Yeah. Then
what do we have? What have we studied? What are we looking into? If we're not studying history, if we're not looking further into our societal implications of our everyday life, if we're not trying to research things that don't make any money. Like,
yeah, exactly.
What kind of a society are we?
And
I just can't believe we're yelling at these people for getting these useless degrees. We can't all get the degrees that make all the money.
And you know what? That's really true, because the original thing of college was you need to meet new people and have new perspectives.
Expand your horizons and find different ways of thinking.
Yeah, now it's just, I need some way to pay my bills.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. College is no longer about meeting people and being learning more about truly, honestly, history and the world and other people and other cultures. It is now, I need to do this because if I want to live comfortably. Because if truly and honestly, even if you do get a degree, you are not promised a comfortable life. Not even a good life, a comfortable life.
Yeah.
And I'll say right now, I make a lower than average salary, I think. And right now I'm comfortable because of, first of all, I'm young. I don't have any debts yet. But if
you live in a smallish apartment.
Yeah. And I mean,
with
I
a
have
roommate,
roommates.
technically.
And if I had a student, because the job I have, it wanted a degree. If I had a degree and I had to pay student loans on that, I would be so, because that's such a $500, even if I had a $200 a month payment, that would
mine is $250, and I did one semester at a less than $20,000 I took out.
Yeah, and that it's just my quality of life would be significantly lowered. Mm-hmm. And it's just when you say, oh, people get these degrees.
I mean, that's the cost of a small house. I mean, maybe not nowadays, but that could be in a smaller town. That's the cost of a house. You're telling a 17-year-old to just.
Because there's no other option.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
If you don't go into debt, you won't have any money in the first place. If you do go into debt, then you'll get money. But now that's not promised.
Yeah.
And it's just honestly, I was saying earlier, oh my God, my mind changed. This is eye-opening. But it's just like, I'm like, you have to like get a degree. It's more for practicality, because I don't want to see, specifically my friends, I love you guys so much. I know I'm a hater. I love you. But it's just like, I don't want you to suffer. You need to get a grip on yourself and look at what's around you, and you need to make a decision. Because musical theater degree won't.
I mean, also, there's just so many people in there. They don't need people to go into musical theater.
They don't. But also,
in my whole rant about like, you have to put more effort into humanities, I'm like, no, that's good. That part's good. There's enough people.
Everybody goes into musical theater, which is fun.
It's fun. Like, that's why I don't blame them. It's fun. It's the most fun thing ever to do musical theater.
Well, unless you're backstage, you're crying, you're stripping off.
That's fun too, even if you're crying.
I mean, that's the whole point. But but it's like, college used to be where you open up your mind, you learn philosophy.
Yeah.
That's not it anymore. It's become another
an expectation.
Yeah, it's
filled with debt.
And now, the only people that can truly have those eye-opening experiences and study the humanities and study all these things that I consider right now useless degrees is the rich people, because they can afford to have debt. Because being rich having money is cheaper than being poor every single time. Because if you are rich and you can buy a house with, if you buy $100,000, obviously no house is $100,000. If you buy $100,000, paying $100,000 for that house. If you're poor, you can't pay that in cash. You will pay $500,000 in it with all the interest mortgage. So it's like, every single time, being rich is cheaper than being poor. Every single time.
Yeah, there's a great Ben Folds song that he's talking about, like, when he was broke, he needed more, but now that he's rich, he gets free coffee.
Exactly. And all these celebrities, they make shitloads of money, and they get free products, they get PR packages.
I mean, I don't think they make a ton of money, but because they have money, or at least show off the fact that they have money, they're able to get more money because of that. Just such the weird
you will
influencer.
get more, and the people that get the most government handouts are big companies that make record profits.
Oh my God.
They get the biggest handouts. It is always cheaper to be rich than to be poor.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little off topic, but getting a little bit back on topic.
It comes back to college degrees and loans and money. Capitalism, it's the root of every... Pens and papers, guys. Pens and papers. Write this down, okay? I told you. Someone on TikTok didn't tell me. They did. But I'm telling you, okay? Listen up.
Okay, I thought about this about fake going to college before, and I feel like that's kind of what I did. And I had this idea that I was like, I feel like this is a hack to the whole system, would be to get into an Ivy League college, right? I mean, that's, first of all, that's hard as it is.
That's your first problem.
That's hard as it is, but let's say you can do that, or let's say you can get into a really good school, and you can't afford it. Let's say you cannot afford it. Here's my hack, is to go there. Go there for 1 semester or 1 year. Join all the clubs. Meet all the people. You're going to have a great network of people who are going to do these great things, who are going to look at you to hire you. Yeah. You'll be able to put that on your resume because you did go to the school. Like I put my college as my resume. I just put the years that I went. Sometimes it gets by people, sometimes it don't. And then you can, socially, you can talk about your time in college. Therefore, people assume that you went to college. You can get jobs based on word of mouth. You don't even need to submit your college degree. Like, you can, if you're in that network, that's what college is for getting in that network, knowing the people, and then being able to put that name on your resume. And if you go for 1 year or 1 semester, you're able to do that. You're able to use all of that stuff that college is for by only paying for 1 semester.
Yeah, and
that's my college hack.
I did not know before I started, watching you in the entertainment industry and also going into corporate myself, how important networking is.
Yes.
I thought all of these bros where they were like, you need to grind. And I was like, y'all are doing too much. But truly and honestly, like, you need to network.
Yeah. But networking is hard because it's easier said than done. You can't just meet someone, say hi, and be like, hey, what's up? Like, let's exchange numbers. It truly is. You have to make a connection. That's why a lot of salespeople say, like, the first meeting is to you just flatter and you find what's in common, and then you leave them. And then the next time you meet them, that's when you can pitch them your stuff. That's when you can do it.
Really, and in corporate where they're like, oh, you should be a leader, you should, do all this stuff. They're like, you have to be the brightest, the loudest, the happiest, unfortunately, the prettiest. Because nobody likes, they don't want to see you. When I say, again, pen and paper, guys, ugly people are the most oppressed people on the planet. Because whether you like it or not, people are going to choose pretty people over ugly people.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, and it hurts. It hurts me, guys. It hurts me, okay?
It's like
because I'm not one of the pretty people.
It's a very interesting...
You're definitely not. But that's the truth.
It's a very interesting point of intersectionality.
It really is.
It's like when you look at race or anything like that...
Again, we're white women. Take this with a grain of salt.
Take this with a grain of salt. Oh my God.
With a scoop of salt, okay?
It's like, we can't also ignore the fact that if you're a super attractive, like, black person or something...
If you're an attractive minority...
you're going to be treated very differently than...
An unattractive minority.
Yeah.
In every single case. Yeah. Exactly. It's like, again, we were talking about classism, and this is why I say prettiness. Like, you can... And that's so much where they're like, oh, this person on the street, I gave them, like, a makeover, and I changed their life. It's like, honest to God, if you're pretty and you're poor, you will get treated so much better than if you are ugly and you're poor.
Yeah.
So pick a struggle. Guys, pick a struggle. If you're ugly, start making money, because you don't have the privilege. You don't have the privilege of being pretty.
And I think along those terms, in at least the corporate world or any kind of networking in general, it's just like the introverts. They also, it's just, you're just not going to get super far if you're an introvert, and that's a sad truth, and it really sucks because they're just amazing people.
It's interesting because in the corporate world, the way you make money in corporate and business, and you can say this about any corporate, any business has a corporate section, like everything. The way you make the money is not by having skills, it's about being a manager. You do not make money. I think they say leadership, it branches off professional, and that's more like actually doing the stuff. Like if you're into coding and stuff, you actually do the code. There's and you can work your way up through that, but you will only get so far. Yeah. But if you go into leadership, you will make more money doing less work.
Yeah, but the skill part of it too, you can make a lot of money. That is if you take those skills and form your own business, but then you're a businessman. You're a CEO. Sorts.
Again, you're in that leadership position.
Yeah. That's the way you'll use that to make money.
That's the thing where it's just like the people that make the most are the people who are delusional, who say, I have this. And when they say, well, who are we going to promote? The person that's being like, I run this business. They're going to choose that because they're like, oh, that person's confident. No, they have a disorder. And I am that person, and I intend to climb the corporate ladder because
watch out,
bitches! I'm the CEO. But truly and honestly, I need to stop saying that. Can we get a truly and honest account? Can we? I almost said it again. But if I don't say truly and honestly, I can't say another thing. Hold on. Truly and honestly, guys, is that the way corporate is, and it's so much like high school, where it's like, oh, you want to be class president because that looked really good. It's so much like high school, where you won't be the best person on the block if you are top of the class. You will be the best person on the block if you are in clubs, if you talk to a lot of people, if you are class president, if you talk to the teachers. That's what the best student looks like. Mm-hmm. So, and honestly, I was looking at this, and when I first started in corporate, I was like, oh, like, I'll just do my job. But now I'm like, this is a game.
It is a game.
It's a game, and I can win this game if I get good at it. And that's what they're saying, building skills. Unfortunately, it's about being fake. I mean, I like to be, like, this bubbly person.
Yeah, but you have to, like, purposely try to be that bubbly person. Yeah. It's not necessarily fake, but, like, you really do have to make sure you're not in a bad mood. Yeah. And even if you're sleepy, like, you do have to put on that
and I'm really bad at that. Whenever I'm like, my tummy hurt. Guys, I hate you all. No, I don't do that. But it's a game, Mm-hmm. It's a game, and the steps are all put out in front of you. And again, I didn't have a degree. I had a little bit of experience, not much. And again, if you apply to anywhere, they don't look at your resume. Simply put, they don't look at your resume. What you need to do is you need to edit your resume for every single job you apply to for every single time.
I know, and it sucks. And I've applied to so many jobs where not only do you have to edit your resume, but you also have to input every single little part of your resume again in their little system. It takes so long. I know. I'm not to say truly and honestly. It takes
time.
An hour to fill out an application for some place that for something that you know that they're not going to look at. You're going to take an hour to fill that out, and they're going to take 2 seconds to look at it before they say decline.
They don't look at it. Listen, you go to the website, okay, or you go to the job listing. They will have keywords that you will see. It's like leadership, applied
I just feel
skills.
like everyone's doing that nowadays, and I don't think that's foolproof. I think they look into that. I think that's not foolproof.
Well, for right now, I think, but that's how I got this job. Is that
but I've tried that everywhere, and I've had no luck.
Maybe the problem is you, okay? Because every single person I've talked to is like, yeah, that's how you do it. Maybe the problem is you. What's the common denominator here? As I was saying, before I got rudely interrupted, you take those keywords, those buzzwords. There's always corporate buzzwords, teamwork, leadership, stuff like that. You'll see them. You take it out, lie on your resume. Every single person. Pen and paper. Lie on your resume. Bullshit it all. They'll teach you the skills you need to know. Lie on your resume. They don't know.
I do think that's true. It's also, anyone can say, especially these soft skills, these personality skills, you can say anything about yourself.
Anybody that has a college degree and has a job where they say, oh, we require a college degree, did you have to show proof of anything?
I think they do go and they look it up. They go to your school for verification and they send something back. That is something that they do. I think, again, a lot of lower, if you're applying to like be a cashier and they want someone with a degree for some reason, because half the people have degrees and they choose someone with a degree, they're not going to look it up. But if you're looking at a corporate position and you say you have a degree, they're probably going to want
because you don't need a degree for a corporate position, you know?
I'm just saying that they will probably check. You can't lie and say you have a degree when you didn't.
But you should lie on your resume and say, oh, I did this, I was involved with this group, I did this, I had these skills. Lie. Because they're lying too. They're like, we look at every resume, we love you, we care about you. No, they don't. They want to make money.
I don't know if I can endorse this fully.
You should be endorsing it, because who's been unemployed for 7 months? And, who has put in resumes and you're not following my directions? What's the common denominator here?
Me.
Yeah, thanks. Again. I know everything. Guys, I know everything. Listen to me.
See, this is the type of person, I do think that there are people who dominate and win conversations purely because they are better at talking, or they're just smart. A lot of people, it's like the smartest person in the room wins the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think you were just the type of person that is so steadfast and so aggressive about your point that you like win a lot of conversations.
Because people give up. They're like, I can't get through to this person. You're yelling at me and I'm crying. I said, yes. And now I've won. Okay? Listen, and that's the thing. It's so funny because my mom told me I'm a loud drunk. And I am. Because I'm exactly like this when I'm drunk. I'm just louder and more abrasive. And that's who I am. It's just like, not the smartest person in the room who wins the conversation, the loudest person in the room.
True. And sometimes that's all you need to be.
Again, confidence, delusion. Delulu, I love being Delulu. And it's how you get places.
Okay, back to college.
What do you have to say about college?
I know. I feel like I'm so far away from college.
You've only talked about your failures in college so far.
Well, I've only
your
had
regrets.
Failures. That's not true because I actually have a great set of people that I met in college. Because I went and I did the comedy scene, and I had all these friends I did stand up with, and that
networking.
Yeah, and they're doing great things. A lot of them are still in comedy, and I love them all so much, even if I don't talk to them all the time. And I love seeing what they're doing and supporting everything that they're doing. And you know, that's a huge network that I made of these people. And that was all from joining clubs. I didn't make any friends in my classes. I made all my friends.
Everybody's miserable
through
in class.
Clubs and extracurriculars.
You just reminded me of something. Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
is that I went to one semester of college this past year. My first semester, right in 2020, I met somebody, and he's literally what I would call my nemesis. When I say I hate this person with a passion, but every single I take one sip of alcohol, and I go and I unblock his number, and I say, "Sup, bitch." It's so bad. And I actually had to delete his number, but not block him, because if I blocked him, he was still on my blocked list. So I could go down and I would have I would recognize his number and I would unblock him and then call him.
I'm sorry, what does this have to do with anything? Did you just want to tell the anecdote that you have a nemesis?
I do have a nemesis. I probably have another nemesis. I don't know.
You're my nemesis.
Bitch, you wish. Girl, this is going to end in shambles. This is frenemies. This is nemesis. Not because we're sisters.
You scare me.
I know. I'm built like an ox. Okay, listen.
That's pretty funny.
That has to be it. Because guess what? I'm your biggest hater. I am your biggest hater, and I
know.
Look at her cry. What was I saying? So in college, I went to my first 2020 fall 2020. Everybody had masks on. They were like, "Don't get together." So it was really hard for me to make friends. And then I went this other time, and I was working in office, and I went part-time. I was working full-time, and I went to school part-time. I only took 2 classes. So I would go there, and I'm like, finally, this is my chance to meet people my age, because there's really not a lot of opportunities to meet people your age. So I went in there, but the thing is that I had to go work because I took morning classes. I had to go to work right after that. So I would pull up, and I would look like a 35-year-old.
True.
And I would and I'm like, no wonder no one wants to talk to me. I look like I'm 28. And I'm like, hey, kids, the times. And nobody, but I will say in community college, it's a lot of mixed ages.
Yeah, I just
so then I'm looking for people my age who are college age, but everybody there is like people that are like 40 years old going back to get their degree because they got a degree in musical theater and now they realize that it's useless and they need to pay their bills.
Bruh.
Anyway, I hate musical theater.
You're a hater. You're a meanie.
I am a hater. I'm a hater. I'm a bitch. I'm your hater. I'm your nemesis. But so I had to go right after my classes. I had to leave right after my classes. So I couldn't make friends then. And honestly, the real reason I went back to college is to find anybody, because I only talk to her, and I'm losing my fucking mind. Okay, because I moved out. So I moved out. I didn't go to college down here, and I moved to a city completely alone. I only know you. And I work in an office with 45-year-olds. What friends am I going to make?
Yeah, I don't know how people make friends nowadays. It was so funny when we were at that bar, and it was just like, people are like, I wish we could stop dating online and date in real life. And it's like, this is what dating in real life is at this bar. And it's like, that is not better.
I know. But I will say my first day at college, I found one person. And she was wearing a crochet bandana. And I said, that person is queer. You're mine. And I went up to her and I said,
I wear bandanas.
No, but they're not the same.
Okay.
Again, she was pretty, you're ugly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I said, you're queer. Come with me. You're my friend now. And we became friends because I was delusional enough to literally go up to her and say, I know what you are.
That's what you have to do is like truly force people to be your friend and they'll be your friends.
And the thing is that they're looking for friends too. So if you come up to them like, oh my God, they're coming to me. Because that's what I thought. I said, I'm going to go to college and I'm going to sit here and wait for people to come to me. And then I said, wait, I'm ugly. Nobody wants to come to me. I need to go to other people.
And if you can't start a conversation if you're trying to make friends, you can't start it off like you're like, oh, hi, who are you? You have to start the conversation like you're already friends. Like, oh my God, can you believe this guy talking over here? Like,
I know. I said, I see your bandana. I know what you are. I'm there too. She saw my septum piercing. She said, I know what you are.
Bruh, she was probably terrified of you.
And she was.
I know what you are.
No, I was like, And no, we started off normally. I was like, oh my God, I love your bandana.
Okay.
And then she was like, thanks. And I'm like, I know nobody here. And she's like, yeah, me neither. And we were like, we're friends now.
You started
literally
as if
Willy
you're friends.
Wonka. Let's be friends. Best friends.
Best friends.
And it worked. That's the thing. I feel like if I go out in public and do that, honestly,
The thing with making friends with people who are still in college, I mean, community college is different, but making friends with people who are in college or dating someone who's in college is that, like, they're still basically in high school. That mental state in your mind, if you're in college, is like you're still in high school. You haven't been out in the real world. You haven't been able to do anything by yourself. College babies you like they did in school. So,
and I'll say this again. College is daycare. You go there. They say, hey guys, it's bedtime. You gotta go sleep. And you get up. They say, here's your breakfast. And listen, again, I am bitter. I'm a hater to my core. Peace and love, I'm a hater. I had to work. And nobody looked after me. Because I moved out.
Yeah, but then also, do you find it hard to relate to people who are still in college because they
yes,
have
because
not
I'm like,
had
you're
that
12 years
experience?
old. You don't know shit about the real world.
Which is why
I'm a conservative. I'm like, you don't know about the real world. And I say that all the time because they don't. None of you people know about the real world. I do. I know everything. Pen and paper.
Bro. But like that's why I don't like the age gaps of people who even are in college and someone who's out of college. I mean, obviously I don't think it's that bad, but like if you're someone who's 20 years old and you're dating someone who's, I don't know, 30, it's like you have nothing in common. You are still a child.
They're just like, yeah, no, that's weird. And the thing is, I could date, like, again, I'm 21. I could date a 21-year-old that's in college, and I feel like
you're dating a child.
Exactly. I'm like, I have nothing to relate to you with. And I think that it is a privilege to go to college and have that transitionary period between, oh, I was at home, this is what I learned, I had this kind of
everyday system, cycle.
And then go into college where there is a similar routine.
But you have a little bit more freedom to start being on your own.
And you have more responsibility to take care of more stuff. Thing is, I went from living at home to living by myself, paying rent by myself, cooking for myself, literally for like, and the thing is, sometimes I would cry and be like, I haven't eaten.
That's the hardest part of moving out for the first time.
It's feeding yourself.
Is feeding
Oh my
yourself.
God.
Having to prepare
my God.
meals every day. And we go to the grocery store and we'll get like $200 worth of food, and within one day, half of it's gone. Like exponentially, it halves every day.
That's your fault though, because you only get snacks.
We only eat snacks.
I try to make meals.
Everything else is going to rot.
I know, exactly. The thing is, I want to make meals so bad. And I'm like, okay, planning meals, holy shit. I have to give my mom more credit. Because the thing is, she came out with new meals every week. And I see why she gave up.
That's more than a chef's full-time job. Because at least a chef doesn't have to plan every meal every day.
I know. It's crazy. And the fact that my mom would go to work an 8-hour shift, come home, make that dinner. I come home and I say, I have to take a 3-hour recovery nap because I just went outside. I cannot even think about cooking food. And it's just like, that definitely is the hardest part. But I moved out and I didn't have any help. Like, I was paying rent on my own. I was doing everything on my own. I briefly had help from you when I was out of a job. But then I had to pay back.
Yeah, believe me, I kept a ledger.
Oh, yeah, she did.
But I did forgive you of, like, half your debt.
Yeah. Forgiving student loans?
I said, if you pay me half of this debt up front,
I got my tax return, and you said, if you give me your entire tax return, I'll waive the rest of it. But
maybe that's what I did.
I have no help on, I mean, sometimes I'll call my dad. Or, like, I used to, because I'm at a better place now. But I'd be like, I've eaten plain rice for the past 5 days. I have scurvy, $20. And I would go to the store, and I would get 2 things, because that's what it cost.
It's so hard. And, like I said, I just don't prepare meals, so I just eat snacks. Yeah, and then I'm not fulfilled by eating my snacks.
So I am envious of people that go to college to have this structure and have a transition period when I literally was thrust to the wolves. But I think that because that happened, and that's the thing, it's just like I I had to mature really fast, and I had to get it together really fast. And I will say I really struggled, but as soon as I got a stable job, a lot of my anxiety disappeared.
Yeah, it was crazy, your transition from, it was honestly the retail job, working a retail job where you weren't making a lot of money,
And
when you're on your feet all day and dealing with people,
Yeah.
and like you like truly like
and
you were
I
a
was
shell of a person.
I was. And I was so miserable. You could not. If you offered me $75 an hour, I still would not go back to retail. That's how horrible it is. People are like, oh, I don't want to sit in an office all day. I do. Sitting, doing nothing, because you don't do anything in office jobs. Doing nothing, typing in air condition, I'll take that any day. Any day over retail.
And then here, now that you work from home, it's like you get off work and in 2 seconds you're in your bed taking your nap.
Exactly. I am taking my nap right then. And the thing is, working from home, because it takes so much less time. I have more energy to do stuff because now I don't have to get up early and get dressed and do all this stuff and pay for stuff to get up there and come back and have to do this. I have so much more energy to do other stuff than just work. But I was so unstable and I was so anxious and I was miserable when I was working retail. But as soon as I got a job where it was stable hours and it was consistent and it was quiet, I like so much of my I was like, oh, I can do this. But I was so fucking miserable. So if you have the opportunity to take an office job, take it. It's worth it. Tech jobs are really, really oversaturated because we've seen the transition.
There was a huge boom where everyone was like, oh, you got to go into tech. But now there's so many people who, like, I was part of that, got a computer science degree. And then now a ton of people who are very qualified are, like, out of jobs because of all the massive layoffs.
A ton of people, they got layoffs because, again, college right now is used to, you need to make money. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, you can go to college. Any college degree will not make you a millionaire. Mm-hmm. You don't work up to being a millionaire.
Yes.
You know? The only thing that could possibly make you a millionaire, truly self-sufficient, is starting a business. But then by the time you're making $1 million, you are not doing that work yourself. You are telling other people to do the work. And then you're paying them. They're doing the work, and then you're taking that money from them.
Yeah. Like, even actors who make the big bucks, they make the big bucks because once an actor gets to a certain point and makes a certain amount of money, they're not going to get super, super rich off just being an actor. I mean, they're obviously very rich from being an actor, but they make their money by having production companies being signed on as producers in which they get a back end of the movie. Yeah. And that's how they make their money. You look into any big actor, they're going to have a production company, and they're going to be, I mean, most actors do this. They classify themselves as loan-out companies, but they are a business and they are part of the business of the movie for the most part.
And also, if you are a big actor, you are a celebrity, then you also, and that's the thing,
business of yourself, of your brand.
People on Broadway, they don't make a lot. What did you say? The average Broadway thing is like $50,000 a year?
Maybe
a little bit.
I don't know. I think they make a good amount per week when you're working, but the thing is that you're just not always working.
Yeah, and then so again, you won't make money by going into musical theater, even if you're at the top. You make money by being a celebrity and doing brand deals. Yeah. And advertising. So the thing is that you will never be a millionaire just by working.
No, you can be a millionaire for sure.
After 40 years, if you invest.
I mean, after like a certain amount of years.
But the thing is, it's just like, that's so, you can't, it's the luck. But with that is that so even though people want to make money with college degrees, if you're making under $1 million, that's not rich, especially in this, like, obviously you're well off.
I don't know about that. If you're making $800,000 a year, that's pretty wealthy.
It is, but also in comparison to people at the actual top. Yeah. It's just like, if you make $1 million a year, you're probably like in the bottom 20% of like money made, because the people at the top
make $1 million a year. No, I would say maybe 40, bottom 40, maybe 60%.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the amount of wealth you have.
Yeah,
it's just like there's so
much more wealth, money being on top of that.
Yeah, so like compared to me, I would say that's insanely rich. But also, it's just like in the scale of the people that have money, like the billionaires that we talk about. It's so little money. But the thing is that people go into college to be comfortable, to make a comfortable living, to have the American dream, because the American dream is so is unreachable now. To have a house. And the thing is, you can buy a house, but to have a home, a home, you need to have bedrooms, you need to have
in a place that you like, in a house that you like in a location that you like,
and
in a
to
neighborhood
have
that you
kids,
like.
It's so expensive that it's just not really. It's so far out. So the thing is, people go into these degrees and they want to be comfortable, but now everybody wants to be comfortable, and so everybody went into tech because that was a really, really big boom. But now there's more people in tech that just now. And the thing is, I do think they treat tech people crazy. And I think that was part of the big layoff, is that tech people would not do anything. You would watch.
There were some people who just did not do anything, truly. I know a lot of people who, in my graduating class, because this was 2017. I mean, sorry. I went to college in 2017. So the people who were in college at that time, they skirted by in their programming classes and the computer science classes because they knew that the career was in such high demand that they did not need to do too much work above and beyond their major in order to get these jobs. And now they probably screwed themselves, because now you do need to have that, and they did not put in the work during school because they were just like, it's fine, I'll float by. Like, they just need these people.
Yeah. And the thing is that, first of all, I don't see a future with AI. That's one of my controversial opinions. I don't see a future with AI, because AI, it will exhaust all of its things. The thing is that it uses pattern recognition. AI, the current AI that we have, cannot come up with an original thought.
The thing about AI in terms of jobs, I do think it will take over some spots. When you look at how much technology has progressed for us and how little we actually utilize it, ask people to do a Google search. They cannot, for the life of them, find something on Google. And yet everything's at our fingertips, and people still don't know how to search common things. Like, technology has not helped us in the ways we think it is going to help us. So I think AI will be a big part of our future, but I don't think it's going to completely redesign everything, because at the end of the day, we are human-based people who are grounded on the earth, and we just don't mesh super well with technology. We don't know how to use it very well.
I'm going to say something, and this will come back to bite me in the ass, and I will be canceled, and I know this is for a fact. If you're not a human, don't fucking talk to me. If I open up a fridge and it says, hello, kill yourself. You are not human. Do not speak to me.
That fridge is working 24/7. That fridge that said hello to you, that you're having to say hey back.
Why are you speaking to me? I am a god compared to you. I unplug you, you're gone. And that's the thing. It's just like, if I call somebody and it's like a call center and there's an AI person, get a real person on the phone. And I'm such a boomer with that. And the thing is, I mean, I at least, I know I'm respectful of call center people. And I always say, listen, I know it's not your fault. Hey, I love you. I love you. You're doing a great job. But what the hell is happening? But the thing is, like, AI, it just won't. Listen, I can't. Listen, I'm on constant stand-up mode. If I'm talking to somebody on the phone, I'm telling them a joke. If I tell a joke and AI doesn't laugh, I'm killing myself.
Straight as day.
Simply. I want an AI that will just tell me I'm funny. The thing is like, there's this one thing.
I want an AI that will genuinely laugh whenever I say something.
Hey, can I have an AI that's a friend? Can I have a friend?
I'm actually sure there's a lot of movies about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I don't like any of the automated, generated, all this hobble bobble. Give me a piece of pen and paper. Pen and paper, guys. Pen and paper. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Now, I don't have street experience. I've
street experience?
Yeah, like, I know corporate stuff, but I don't know what it's like to black out. I feel like a lot of college people know what it's like to black out.
I don't know. I went to parties with like doobies and alcohol, and I would just pass it to the next person. Like, I'd be like, I just never did any of that stuff.
Do you know what's so funny? My friend, she went to college in a city, and she would literally go to frat houses and then just stand at the door and say, hey, it's a $20 fee to get in. And they didn't know her. She just stood there and said, hey, it's $20 to get in. And she made like hundreds of dollars.
That's so funny.
I know.
I would be so sad because I would say, oh, and go home because it wouldn't be worth it. And then I'd be so sad because I could
Well,
have
first of
gone
all,
to
you
a
wouldn't
party.
be at those parties in the first place. That's your first.
I went to parties with my improv friends.
They were just improvising a party.
And it was lit.
You're at a party and they start doing bits and they're like, hey guys, I'm a mime. And you're like, this is crazy.
No, that's literally what it is. It's just bits for the most part. There's some conversations.
No, there's not. It's them being in character having conversations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best though. I don't want to go to what I've heard about frat parties.
You know, we've talked about a lot of getting into college and
We didn't talk about any like sororities or fraternities.
yeah,
or anything
yeah.
like that.
No, do you have any
thoughts on
crazy college stories?
Crazy college stories. No, not that I can think of.
Okay, neither of us have any stories because neither of us actually went to college. First mistake. Other than my nemesis.
I went to college for almost 2 years.
Now let's do the math here. Listen, you didn't talk about when you went to community college, but
Yeah,
what are
that
some?
was during COVID, and literally my entire class was just a slideshow presentation that I could not even read half the slides because they were covered with other images.
Do you have any friends that have crazy college stories?
No, I'm sure I do. I just can't think of any.
Yeah, I mean, first problem, I don't have any friends.
Yeah, that's the first thing. Is no friends.
I know, but I will say that I had a really bad GPA, and I think I had a pretty average ACT score, and I mean, by that point, I knew I wasn't going to a 4-year college. I'm like, community college is my only hope. But I did apply to one college, and I paid $25, and I just wanted to prove myself that I got in. I think it had like an 87 acceptance rate. So, but guess what? I wasn't a part of the 13%, and I'm proud of that.
Well, okay, so I thought you were saying that you didn't get in, but you did get in. Okay, great.
I did, but then I decided not to go. But
That's
I
crazy.
was
I'm
like,
gonna name the school because they may sue you for for defamation.
what, they accepted me? That's defamation. They're
Yeah.
so ashamed of that.
Yeah, because you said you had a 2.6 GPA.
No, 2.4. Get it right.
2.4.
Lower your expectations. But and I was like, you know what? And it was I because my freshman year I had a 0.9 GPA. I lost all hope of going to an actual good college. So and I was like, I wanted the college experience so bad because that's what it is, and it's an experience.
Yeah, I totally agree that I
People pay for
loved
the
my college experience. I'm so glad that even if it was just 1 year, I don't even really count that other half year, but even though it was just like 1.5 years, I loved going to college. I loved the experience, and I truly do wish that I could have gone the whole way. And now that I'm older, I feel like if I went back to college, it just would not be the same. It would not be that same experience.
Exactly. Like, I would go in, because I only have 2 credits, I would go in at freshman level. I'd be with all these 18-year-olds, and I'm like, first of all, where are your parents?
Yeah, but you also know everything about, I mean, not everything, but you know a lot about the world already. You've already had to live on your own. There's not that freshness.
I know, but then I just won't fit in with the people.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's another thing on top of that. That makes it just so different.
But really, I was really considering actually going to that college, but then I was like, I cannot put myself into this debt. And even though I think per semester it was about $9,000. So about your first semester. And I was like, I can't, because all people talk about now is student debt, and it's crippling, and it's awful.
Yeah, I'm glad I got out when I did.
I know. And it's just like, what if you're in at a certain point, what choice do you have but to keep going? Mm-hmm. You know, you're halfway, you swam halfway through the canal, you know, and it's just like, okay, I could drop out and stop this, or I could keep on going and have the potential, not even a guarantee, to, you know, get something out of this.
The great part about going to school when you're older is, you know, when I first went, I had that great experience of being in college. It was so much fun, but I didn't really want to be there academics-wise. But now if I went back, because I have a better understanding of what I want to do, what I want to get an education for, I would be going back for the education. And I think that puts a little oomph behind it, something that I didn't have before.
I guess, but I just feel like, and I've seen a lot of people recently drop out of college. And I've seen a lot of people, especially my class. I'm class of 2020. I've seen a lot of people drop out because they're just like, I don't know. I don't think this is the right step. And I think that's a good idea. I think everybody...
The next step is getting people to find like vocational stuff, or even maybe even just as a society, let people have a year or two off college before they go to college.
I think gap years are really dangerous because I think that a lot of people don't go back after gap years.
I mean, that is true. That's a good point. That's probably why I didn't go back.
If you take a gap year, you know. But I will say is that if you know... I think that it's a good idea to, if you don't know what you're going to do, I think it would be good to go to a community college for the first 2 years. Get all your gen eds out of the way. And you won't have as much of an experience. But then you can go to a 4-year school, take the specific degrees or like the things that weren't in community college, get your bachelor's. You have half the debt because community college is so much. Even though my first semester in 2020 was $4,000 a month, and that would have been $8,000 a year. That's basically half. That's still
expensive.
Steep. Yeah. Like if you don't have a savings account, you can't really do that. But it's definitely not as burdensome.
Yeah, it's doable. It's expensive but doable.
Yeah,
as opposed to I think that's why people take out student loans too. Is because they're like, well, there's no way I'm going to be able to pay any of this in a lump sum, so they take student loans out for everything. When it's like in reality they could probably put a few thousand towards it, but like they're just like it's such a big number that it's just like it's going to get all student loans, and the bigger the number becomes, the more it's not real. The number isn't real.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, well, this is the going rate. I guess I'm just going to spend $100,000.
Yeah,
at 17 years old.
That's what the standard is. But I think everybody, because I think it's good that if you, I mean, I do think that the technical colleges with, again, we need more gaffers, please. The things are so dark. But I think you definitely do need a knack for that stuff, like woodworking, stuff like that, more of those hands-on laborer jobs.
I just feel like you need more truly practice and experience.
But that's what apprenticeships and
that's why they have like apprenticeships.
But I don't think that that's a good thing if you don't think that you're gonna like it. And that's why in high school, if you take there was like a welding class in my high school, but I think that's a really good idea to see if you can. But I think that it is a good idea. I think the path that makes most sense is go to community college first 2 years, get a general education degree. That way you have a degree. And then after that, you peel off into your things. If you want to go straight into the workforce, if you change your mind, if you want to go to a vocational school, or if you want to continue your degree. And I think that, and with community college, you can take more exploratory classes because it's not as much of a burden because it's not expensive.
Yeah, it's not like me spending $18,000, soon to be $30,000,
and then you
on
dropped out
3 classes that weren't even very relevant to my major.
Yeah, and so that's. But I just wish that people didn't pressure college as much because it's gotten a lot of people into this insane amount of debt.
Yeah. Well, I think that's about all for us. We're gonna be less down, less negative.
Listen, I'm talking about money.
I really want this to be something where people just feel like they're talking with their peers also, and some advice and ways to be happier.
I will say this probably wasn't the wisest first podcast idea because both of us dropped out of college and have
that's why
no
it's the perfect
college
first
stories.
We're getting it out of the way.
But we're just like college is whack, kids.
Yeah, as if coming from people who didn't even go. That is quite funny.
Like I have any experience.
But I guess what are your final thoughts on college?
My final thoughts on college is that it could be great, and I really wish that I could have gone. But I know that I made the right decision by not going.
I would say my final thoughts are I wish that you could go to school for whatever you want and that you could not go to college if you want to. That is a society I wish we could move forward towards. But as of right now, at this moment, I think the best decision is to go to college and is to get your degree in something that is going to make you a little bit of money.
Yeah.
It's a sad truth, but I just think it's the best advice. But at the end of the day, everything will work out.
I think so.
Look to us, people who are so successful without getting college degrees.
Now, what would you define as success?
I'm success. I'm so success.
And is this 7 to 8 month unemployment rate success to you? Is you sitting on the couch doing nothing all day success to you?
It's success to my butt. My butt's very happy and sitting on a couch every day.
Girl.
You telling me I'm not living the life? I'm actually under a lot of stress.
Yeah, I know. But I will say is that I thought that my life was over when I dropped out of college because I was like, there's nothing to do. But hey, I made it. And that's the thing. It's just like there's so many paths that aren't taught about in school. There's so many weird little quirky jobs that need to be done that people just don't know about.
And there's no degrees for it. They just want people who got a degree at some point.
Yeah, you'll fit.
And my other last advice is to make the most out of college in terms of having a fun experience, networking with people, and doing as many clubs as you can, because that's going to be where you make your friends. It's where you're going to make that strong network. And it's probably going to be more focused on what you want to do. Your club is probably going to be a little bit more focused on what you actually want to do, which will get you towards the actual people that are going to help you in that area. And that's half of what you're paying for, is that connection.
Yeah.
So take advantage of that. Don't just go to classes. You should be doing stuff outside of school, or else you're paying that money for only half of what
get degrees, but
no job is going to look at your GPA.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe they do. I don't know.
I don't think so. Again,
you don't have
first of all, you don't have a GPA.
Actually,
I don't. You don't have a
degree.
degree. Why are you talking about this stuff?
I put my GPA on my resume.
And you're proud of that?
My college GPA was like 3.6. And I had a hard degree, okay? I also had no prior experience in computer science. I was just good at math.
That was really depressing. But you know what? That's the real world, bitch.
Good.